the standard. Yes,
the last 3 weeks have been pretty rough. When it comes
crazy.
To,
crazy.
There's a headline today that said businesses resuming the CBD. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Like in the last 3 months, it's been pretty rough.
It's been very, very rough.
And we want to talk about that. See, hey, what can be done? What's happening? How have things been moving?
Your design.
Are we on an upward trajectory?
Tunaenda chini.
Boss. Joining us live in the studio, Patrick Nyangweso. He's the CEO of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Your design.
KNCCI.
Yeah.
And Gituku Kirika. He's the Chief Executive Officer. PesaLink. Kuna pesa kwa PesaLink.
Ama tunalinkiwa na pesa through this platform tuangu wa power.
Gentlemen, welcome to Hot 96.
Your design.
Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Good to see you guys. Jeff. So real quick, when it comes to movement of money, has that been slow? Has that been slowed down?
Yeah, Jeff, first of all, pleasure to be here. We have seen, yes, a disruption in terms of movement of funds, and unfortunately, there has been a dip. And, for us, we see it almost every minute, every day, whenever there's a civil unrest. Probably 50%, especially of our payments, are business-related. And so, we always see that dip when there's civil unrest.
So you guys must get very nervous when you hear that Gen Z is occupying somewhere else.
Well, I guess the other bright side to it is that when these things do happen, people still need to move around. Some expenses still need to be settled, and that's where we come in to be able to bridge that gap. To offer, we offer payment services 24/7, and therefore we still be happy to the fact that we keep the economy going, and we move the economy more towards digital payments and then away from cash.
Absolutely.
And Gituku, we know that the finance bill was the reason as to why everything panned out the way it did. Its withdrawal made others happy, some were affected on the negative. From where you sit, when it comes to instant payment, especially which is your core, how did you guys take that, and what do you see as trends that will shape instant payment going into the future?
So first of all, for a bit more context, maybe for all listeners, let's not assume that Jeff says that he has used PesaLink. Yes. I don't know about you, Phillips.
Yeah.
I hope by the time I leave here, you will also
be on board.
Yeah, you'll be on board. Yeah. So just for all listeners, just a little bit background what PesaLink is all about and where we were established. So PesaLink was established in 2017 by the banking sector. So we are fully owned by the Kenya Bankers Association, and the reason why the banking sector did that is to modernize payments in the country, and to offer consumers, and consumers globally are demanding a more efficient way of transacting. And so the sector then set up this organization to then be able to power payments instantly between bank accounts, and primarily between bank accounts. Yes, at that time, we had mobile money, more specifically M-Pesa, for about 10 years. Some do believe that we were set up to compete with mobile money, but actually that's not the case. In fact, across our PesaLink ecosystem, we have banks today, we have fintechs, we have SACCOs, so we have over 60 participants on the PesaLink ecosystem, including a telco, which is Telkom Kenya. And we look forward to having more telcos on board, because what we do is just to switch payments between different stores of value, be it bank accounts, telcos, fintech wallets, etc. Right. So we are, we say we're the de facto instant payment rails today. We are serving everyone, everywhere, every time.
And we're talking global.
No, this is today. We power transactions domestically.
Yeah.
However, we do support entities that are, playing in the in the money transfer, international money transfer service as a last mile. So what will happen is if you've got an instant money transfer operator sending money into Kenya, right, they will typically send money into one bank account in Kenya. Then they need to send it to the recipient instantly.
Right.
So at that point, they will leverage the PesaLink service, just like any other local entity that's disbursing payments instantly would do. For example, if I was disbursing salaries. Yes.
So would it be like a Western Union sort of thing?
Yes.
It bounces into the country and then last mile.
Correct. So, in fact, we do have folks like those who, yes, like I said, will be able to promise instant delivery of payments to the recipient in Kenya, because once they get the money into Kenya, into their bank account here in Kenya, then they do need to find a way of how do I send it to that other bank, right? And that's where we come in for the last mile. In terms of Philip, you asked about the finance bill, right? Yeah. So the finance bill, it was going to have some impact on us in with respect to payments, because the proposal was to introduce, as you know, VAT on payments. So that would definitely have impacted the cost of payments, right? With respect to what's happening today in the country, where cost of living has been, is a big issue, right? It's a big conversation around that today. We are pleased that we believe in and we aim to offer affordable payment services. And so if you look at what we charge today to banks, and then it's a significantly low cost. Banks do then determine what they will charge consumers. But if you look across the board, the cost of sending money instantly and for what you get for it in return is very competitively priced. So we will continue to drive the payments agenda with respect to costs. Right, affordability is a big deal for us. We're happy to be playing that role in terms of offering Kenyans an affordable service. Right, and my personal view is that or rather, if, pundits in the payment space is that the cost of payments is only going to go one way, which is down. Right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because of competition or what?
First of all, there's competition. There's cost of technology becoming more efficient. There's change in economic models. We can't keep doing things the way we've been doing them for decades. Right. So we are going to see a change in economic models. What I mean by that is when a transaction is happening from point A, from one person or one entity to another, who's going to pay for that transaction? Is it the entity sending? Is it the entity receiving? Right. And then is that person going to be charged a flat fee, or are they going to be charged a percentage of the transaction? So we are seeing economic models being challenged globally. In fact, if I could just share something with yourselves. In the Southeast Asia today and a few Eastern European countries, we are seeing instant payments taking over from card payments when it comes to e-commerce transactions.
Right? Is there more than credit cards?
Yeah, more than credit cards, more than debit cards. Right.
Mm.
And this is as per a 2024 Global Payments Report by WorldPay. Right, listeners can look into that report, and it shows that instant account-to-account transfers are overtaking or have overtaken card payments for e-commerce, and so one wonders, okay, how does that happen? So when you have a service like PesaLink and your bank is offering that to you, so actually, how do you access PesaLink? Right. You do it through your banks. So we serve banks. Banks are our customers. Fintechs are our customers. SACCOs are our customers. And microfinance institutions, and also, like I said, telecom, Kenya is our customer. So we enable them with technology, which they then offer to you as a consumer. So you will need to access PesaLink through your bank's channels.
And all the banks have been onboarded right now.
We have all the banks on board. Just one to go, just one of the smaller banks to go, which should be on board by end of the year. So we're very proud to say we have all the banks on board. And the big banks, by the way, are the ones that went first. Right, back in 2017, 2018, 2019. So we had all the big banks in the first year of operations. Then we now have all the banks on board, right? And so you access PesaLink through your bank's channels. So you will go to your mobile banking app, you will go to USSD, or even internet banking. Right, and there you will find PesaLink as an option for you to send money. So if you want to send money instantly, we are seeing then folks using that to make business payments. In fact, 50% of the payments we process today are business related. That means either it's an individual paying, say, school fees, which we see a lot, right, or paying rent. Right, or you have a business that is making payments to individuals for salaries and wages, right, or business payments as well. Because remember, if you are an accountant, you're paying salaries, right? And it's 4 o'clock on a Friday, right? How do you do how do you move the money, right?
Yeah.
With us, you don't have to worry about doing it on Friday. You can do it on Saturday morning, right? You can do it on Sunday if you must, right? And so that is a service then that we find extremely beneficial to those kind of what we call transaction flows.
Okay, Gituku, this agenda that we are seeing currently in the streets and in the nation at large has been pushed by the Gen Zs. Gen Zs used one power, which was their phone, and which is technology. Much of the talk that you're talking about is based on technology. And then there is what we call unemployment. And most of them are tech savvy. Is there room for Generation Z to be actually onboarded when it comes to such advances in technology, when it comes to matters to do with money, and also helping the government tame the unemployment rate, which is skyrocketing each and every day?
Absolutely. There is.
And how best can we ensure that we use the Gen Zs to actually propel the agenda of using technology for economic growth?
Okay, let me speak about what has become a growing topic of conversation in the world of payments. This is digital public infrastructure. And this has been pioneered by, or rather, the one country that's really pushing this is India. And in 2023, when India led the presidency of the G20, a resolution was passed by G20 where definition was put around what digital public infrastructure, DPI, is. And the way to think about DPI is how you think about how we see public physical infrastructure. So roads. For example, right? So roads are there to serve everyone, right? They keep an economy moving. They keep people moving. You can put any car on your road, right? Okay, we're looking forward to having driverless cars as well. Not yet available
in Kenya.
Right? But I look forward to being there. My son says that when he thinks about cars, he's now 13. Only thing he thinks about is Tesla and driverless cars.
Yeah.
Right? But today, other than driverless cars, you can put any other car on the road. It doesn't have to be a particular shape or size of car. So in the world of technology as well, right? For payments, right? After the G20 conversation, digital public infrastructure was defined fully, and the members settled on certain principles of digital public infrastructure. There are three of them, right? One is technology, the other is the ecosystem, and the other is ecosystem, technology, and also governance. So with respect to the ecosystem, two things there are critical, right? One is inclusivity, and then there is collaboration. So we talk about inclusivity, right? So when we build payment solutions with our partners, right, we seek to ensure that every individual, right, is taken care of, is thought about, right? Gender, right, age, social economic status. So we're very keen to ensure that as we continue to build our payment infrastructure, we think about inclusivity, right? And collaboration as well is critical for us, because with collaboration, then you have also room for innovation. Right? You will have new players coming into the space. You will have new models coming into the space, and all this will be driven by new entities. It will be driven by young people who are keen to tap into solving for all the payment flows that are not yet solved for. There's still a lot of cash in the economy. Right, and so even as with the success of mobile money in these parts of the world, and with what we have invested in as PesaLink, right, there's still a lot of cash in the economy, and we need to solve for that. Right, how do we get the last mile? Right, how, for example, do we ensure that every time we give a tip to someone who has served us, right, that we can always make that payment digitally? Right, how do we pay the newspaper vendor digitally? Right, there's still a lot of cash that's in circulation, and the only way we can solve for that is many of us get into that space of solving.
At the same time, Gituku, Kenya is known or wants to be known as the Silicon Savannah, right? Do we have the infrastructure? Do we have the support structure for us to be? I know we are regarded as the leader in East Africa, but are we? Can we?
Yeah, Jeff, you're right. What you just said there, and a lot of investment has gone into the world of digital payments by the private sector in this particular country. A lot of the infrastructure we have has been private sector driven, and so as Patrick has just said, I think that's one area that we need to be truly proud of, and we should private sector should continue to lead the way in this. What I believe we need is more collaboration between the private sector. Which is what we are driving today. So we don't build silos. We don't build, what Patrick has indicated, or investment in one particular area, like you just talked about, investment in real estate, and then we're leaving out something else. How do we bring all this together? So there's definitely room for more collaboration. So we don't build what we now in our world we call closed loop payment ecosystems, which tend to lock people into one particular ecosystem, and then you can't transact in another ecosystem. So, for example, what do I mean by that? If you look at agent cash in, cash out ecosystems today, you need to be a customer of that particular, of the provider of that agent network, be it a mobile money agent network, be it a bank agent network. You need to be a customer of that particular provider of that agent network for you to transact. Why can't you just walk to any agent? Right, irrespective of who has enabled you, who your service provider is as a consumer, and be able to transact at that particular agent location.
Yeah.
And so, we are driving that, the collaboration. Then also there needs to be more collaboration between private sector and government. Right. So if you look globally, again, into the markets where they've made huge strides in instant payments, India, Brazil, Nigeria, right. We are also seeing Zambia also heading in that direction. There's a lot of collaboration between the government and private sector. And that starts with a national strategy. Right. Today we keep talking about national dialogue, right? So we need a national strategy around payments, right? And from there, then we need collaboration. We need government to, also come to the party, right? Fully, and coordinate and drive collaboration among stakeholders. Because at the end of the day, as well, private sector can only collaborate so much because of the fact that they all have their own private interests, and rightfully so. And so therefore it then becomes a bit difficult sometimes to collaborate always and compete at the same time. But if you have government at the table, right, then you can make huge strides in that respect. We do need more collaboration in this country within the private sector. We need to enable technologies to speak to each other, what we call interoperability in our space, right? So like I said earlier on, irrespective of which entity has enabled you to make payments, you can be able to transact with another ecosystem, right? A consumer of Bank A can be able to transact with any agent of Bank B, right? Again, we need to come to the table with government, and I'm delighted to say that the central bank is now working towards doing that, right? In fact, as we speak, you might have seen in the news recently, last month, there was a visit that the Central Bank of Kenya, Department of Payments, made to Egypt, just to to see what's going on there, and how Egypt has transformed payments, and they've done so by embracing what we call in our world open banking. Right, what's open banking, which has really taken off in some, in at least in the markets like the UK, and the Europe has put in place policies around open banking. Open banking says that, look, they're just like the money sitting in your account is yours, and the bank is just a custodian, right? And like you said, Jeff, earlier on, I had you saying that
the money
is not yours. Money in your pocket is not yours. Just you're waiting.
It's yours to spend.
So the money sitting in the bank is not the bank's, right? They're just holding it. Right? The data that the bank has on you, on your transactions, again, is not the bank's data. They're just holding it for you. Right. So the open banking states principle is that if you want to be able to access your monies and do transactions, you should be able to do so from any platform. It should not be the platform that is provided to you by the holder, by the custodian of your money.
Yeah.
Right? If you want, so if you bank with Bank A, right? But there's a technology company that does that plays in the payment space and offers a particular platform, and you want to transact from that particular platform instead of having to move from platform A to platform B, right? To go from this payments platform to go to your bank's payment platform or vice versa, you should be able to transact from anywhere. So in India today, right, you can actually be on one bank's mobile banking platform, right, and initiate a transaction on another bank. Onto another bank's, to another bank where you hold another account, right? And so we need to embrace that kind of framework, right? And I'm glad to say the Central Bank of Kenya, like I said, recently they went to Egypt. Egypt has adopted open banking, and I look forward to that happening in a market like this. Nigeria also is looking into open banking.
But don't forget those two countries you mentioned are all about numbers.
Yes.
India, 1.4 billion people. Nigeria, 200
million.
plus. Right?
Yes. But
That's
even
the numbers.
And even with that, when we appreciate the advancement in technology, making payments easy and everything, it comes with another risk, which is
hackers,
cybersecurity, cybercrime, and then money laundering. How do we ensure, even as we make noise about all these advancements, that people are assured of their money being safe, one, and also these platforms are not used to clean money that has been illegally attained.
Wash.
Yeah. So we I think 2 months ago we had we called together users or rather folks who make payments and make payments at scale. So we had organizations there, we had individuals as well, and we just thought to find out what their thoughts are around payments and what they'd like to see. And yes, safety and security did come up. Right, and what is safety and security? Safety is that when I'm initiating a payment, right, everything goes okay, right. I send the money to the right place, right. I enter the right details in the payment that I'm making, right. And what we do, by the way, in that space is that today, when you're sending money to a bank, right. And again, you could be sending it, let's say, from T-Cash, right? Telkom Kenya, right? And you're sending it to a bank. You'd go into the Telkom's platform, right? T-Cash, and you would enter a bank account, right? For a particular recipient in the bank account, right? You will see their name, right? And so if I also go, that service is for moving money from T-Cash to bank is we're gonna switch that on and enable that in due course. Today you can do bank to Telkom Kenya, but if you were to do it from another mobile banking platform, like for example one of the ones we have on board today is SasaPay, right? So if you're moving money from SasaPay's mobile banking, wallet, right? You will see the name of the recipient on the banking side, right? We call it account name check, right?
Or verification,
right? The same thing if you're doing bank to bank, right? And so that's one of the ways in which we're addressing safety. In terms of security, yes, big concern for us. It does keep us awake at night, for sure, right? And we cannot understate the importance of continuing to invest in that area, right? And also looking at new ways and new technologies of doing that, right? So adoption of AI, for example, to be able to make more informed decisions in the payment ecosystem, to safeguard consumers around what you've just mentioned, fraud and AML. We are very cognizant of the fact that when consumers lose, or if consumers lose money, right, something goes wrong, right, they will retract, right, from that service,
and put it back under the mattress.
Go back to cash.
Home banking. So much.
Wow.
And however, that said, again, my son the other day, I was having a conversation with him, and I don't know how checks came up, right? And he said, "Hang on, Dad. You're saying that you can write something on a piece of paper, right?"
and withdraw money.
Pass it on to Patrick, to Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he takes it, right? Gives it to his bank, and money leaves your bank account. He said,
Could not fathom that.
he's like, that's crazy, right? And he said, yeah, but I've signed it. He said, yeah, but I can do that, right?
Yeah.
I can sign you, I can sign
forge-
your signature.
forge
Right.
your
Yeah, no,
signature.
for him, it's not even forging. I mean, for him, it's just, he can do it.
It's no big deal.
It's no big deal,
Yeah.
right? And so we have a generation that
Yeah.
is very comfortable
Yeah.
in the space of technology, right? And they believe in transacting and operating in that environment.
Okay.
And so what we need to continuously do as well is adopt more modern forms and ways of authorizing transactions, right? Adoption of the biometrics, for example.
Absolutely.
Right? We are with our partners going to continue investing in security and safety.
Absolutely.
To keep
Out of
access.
curiosity, how much can I move on PesaLink as an individual or business entity?
Very good question. So the central bank has allowed us to process up to 1 million shillings, or rather less 1 shilling.
Less one.
Yeah.
999,999.
Yep. We are going to be asking for permission to do the 1 shilling.
Oh yeah, just the extra shilling.
Exactly. So it's easier for you, Jeff, and I just say 1 million as opposed to 999. It takes less space as well.
All right.
Yeah. So it's
transaction.
1 million up to 9999 per transaction. Right, you can do as many transactions in a
Of
day.
those.
Same way you can write as multiple checks.
Right.
Then the banks, however, then do set their own limits, right, within their channels, and you'll find that banks may have a different limit for mobile banking, app transactions, USSD, and also online banking. So the banks will set their limits within their own limits within that 1 million, or rather 999. I have to remember it's
Right.
999 limit
Great.
that the CBK has allowed.
All right, Gituku Kirika, CEO, PesaLink, and Patrick Nyangweso,
Yeah.
the CEO, KNCCI, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Great conversation, gentlemen. Thank you for enlightening us. And Patrick Igunza is going to be projecting 999.
Yes,
That's why he was asking for that number. He's ready to send some 999.
Clean money, clean money.
Clean, okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Well done.
Yes.
This is no doubt what we call
Yes.
Candid interviews with decision makers.